And hello and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host. And as always, thanks so much for being here. I truly hope you enjoy the show. Well, we're going to highlight the Ivoryton Playhouse, which is located in Ivoryton, Connecticut. And Ben Hope, the executive producer, is my guest today. And Ed, thank you so, Ben, excuse me.
That's okay.
I knew that I was going to get it wrong.
That's okay.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure. Thanks for being here with us. Grateful for you having me in the studio today.
And probably the viewer is saying, but I remember Jackie Hubbard. She's always there, she's always there. And Jackie said to me in an email, oh no, you want to try a new voice? Ask Ben. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Yes, Jackie is still at the Playhouse, and we're lucky for that. So I'm new to the Playhouse family, but I'm so glad to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, what I like to do to open the show is to introduce the background of the guest. So why don't you tell us about yourself?
Sure.
Take us back.
Okay. Well, it all started when the earth cooled. No, I'm joking. My name is Ben Hope, and I am from Birmingham, Alabama. I was born and raised there. And then after I left Alabama, I went to the University of Central Florida, where I got a degree in musical theater. And I started performing at a very young age, 12 or 13 years old, and I just fell in love with musical theater. And I remember distinctly going to my father at the breakfast table when I was about 16, and I had decided I was going to quit the high school basketball team. And my dad was a big sports guy, and he was the announcer for all the football games, and he was the booster club sponsor for the baseball team. And so at the breakfast table, I told my dad, I said, hey, I think I really want to quit the basketball team. And my dad was an amazing man, and he was very supportive, and he said, okay, yeah, that's no problem. And I said, and I really want to get a pair of tap shoes. And he said, okay, well then let's get you a pair of tap shoes. And the next day he was in the theater with my high school theater teacher, Roy Hudson, who was educator of the century. He was like, you guys got a booster club? And Roy said, I don't know what a booster club is. And my dad said, now you got a booster club. And so then my dad started raising money for the theater program at my local high school. And so with that kind of support, I was really lucky to get a degree in musical theater. And then after I got my degree, I started working professionally. And now, 20 years later, here I am. It's been a whirlwind, but I worked in probably 3 dozen regional theaters, on cruise ships. I was on Broadway for a brief 3-year stint. 3 years on Broadway is a really long time. I was really lucky to get that kind of time, but it went by really quickly. And I met my wife in a theater in North Carolina, and she now works at the Playhouse as well. And we worked at the Playhouse for the first time in 2015, and now here we are. We're full-time staff members, and we love every second of it, and we're excited to build on the remarkable work that Jackie Hubbard and that Krista May and all the great Playhouse staff have put into getting the Playhouse where it is today.
Now, you're executive producer at the Playhouse, yet you're talking all about your aging process as a performer, as an actor.
Right.
How did that transition happen? Are you missing one world as compared to being in a new world?
It's a really good question. I think something that I've always said, and that I think is inherently true, is that when young kids and young adults receive training in the arts, they are primed and ready to have a career in any organization across the entire spectrum of the working world, because I think it teaches you a lot of things about communication, about empathy, about problem solving and teamwork and all kinds of things that I think are really important. So I think that through the education I've gotten in the theater world, I've been kind of properly groomed to work inside an arts organization on both sides of the stage lights, both in the business office and on the stage, making all the creative things happen. So I do, it is bittersweet. I think every actor goes through several cycles in their own career, or not even actor, every artist, every person goes through seasons in their own life, and actors in particular have to go through a period where they change from being what they used to be to being the thing that they are now, and looking ahead to the things that they will become, and the roles that you're right for, and all of the work that you have done in the past is not necessarily the work that you're going to do in your present or in your future. And so I think it's really important for all artists, but particularly actors, to be aware of those kind of changing tides. And that's what happened for me, is that I just, I recognized that I wasn't the young, kind of young and talented ingenue person anymore. I was growing up into a middle-aged adult, and I wanted to grow my understanding of what it takes to create art in all its forms and across the full spectrum of an arts organization. So that's how I got into grad school. I applied to Southern Utah University for a degree in arts administration, and now I'm one semester away, one class away from that degree. Thank you very much. It has taken an enormous amount of work to raise 2 children under the age of 2 while going to grad school and starting these new jobs at the Playhouse, and also continuing to perform, which my wife and I both are still trying to do as well. So it's been a lot of work, but I'm really grateful for the opportunity that Jackie has given us at the Playhouse. Yeah, it's really exciting. I do miss performing. The less I perform and the more I do the administrative work, I do miss performing quite a bit. But we're still in it. We're still doing it.
Now, as an artist, we've kind of touched on that, but your title is executive producer. Am I correct
That's
with
correct.
saying that?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean for the audience that's listening now? What does that mean in general?
Yeah, a producer, much like yourself, has a lot of responsibility in making sure that the programming happens, and that goes all the way from casting and hiring actors to writing the contracts, signing the contracts, hiring all of the guest artists that are going to be. So the Playhouse, we build everything from scratch at the Playhouse. Everything starts over every time a show ends. We tear that down and we build a new one. That's costumes, sets, lights, lighting design. We bring in designers from out of town. We have some designers that are on staff or local that we use often. And so the executive producer is really kind of making sure that all the resources for all of those teams are in place and are accessible for the needs that we have in the production side of things. So the producer really is kind of the point person in the production arm of our organization, and the business office is run by our managing director, Krista May, who's done an amazing job at the Playhouse for 13 or 14 years she's been there. And she's just done a remarkable job gathering resources, building a relationship with the community, growing our endowment, and raising funds to keep this wonderful art institution alive and well here in Central Connecticut. So the two of us are kind of the bifurcated team of what the Playhouse is, and then of course Jackie is our lead person at the top, and we're incredibly lucky to have her. She's a dedicated artist and a dedicated professional in the arts world. She's well respected in the region, and so we're lucky to have her at the helm.
Now, the website, are you familiar with it?
Yes.
Okay, ivorytonplayhouse.org is it.
Yes.
What will the viewer find when they visit it?
You can find all the information you need. One of the most important things is the ways to donate. If you'd like to make a donation to the Playhouse, we're always welcoming the support from the community. But you can also find information on the upcoming season, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
We're going to talk about that.
You can find information about the history of the Playhouse itself. And there are all kinds of resources on there, including places that you can eat and drink nearby if you're coming to see a show and you want to make an evening of it. There's all kinds of resources on our website to find that information.
Now, people may not have heard of the Ivoryton Playhouse in Ivoryton, Connecticut. Who hears of Ivoryton?
Yeah.
The history of it. How did it start? Do you have any idea about that?
Yes. Well, back the Playhouse building itself was built in 1910, and it was the kind of meeting hall for the factory workers that worked in the piano factories that were kind of processing the ivory, which is how Ivoryton got its name. It was where a lot of the ivory came off of the ships and was turned into piano keys for the pianos that were manufactured here and in New York City. And so Ivoryton was filled with a lot of factory workers that were doing the processing of that material, those materials, and they needed a place to gather for dances and meetings and town hall events. So that building was erected in 1910 for that purpose. And then in the 30s and 40s, Milton Stifel, who's a wonderful producer from New York, he used to, I think, vacation in the area, and he saw that building and kind of fell in love with it, and he started to produce some really quite remarkable productions. That as the reputation grew, he was able to get bigger and bigger celebrities who also wanted to escape the city in the summer and come out and do some kind of casual theater. And so the Playhouse, the boards on the stage have been trod by a whole host of famous Hollywood celebrities like Katharine Hepburn, and the list is enormous. You can find that list on our website as well. All of the famous people that have been on the Ivoryton stage, which really is, it's a remarkable place, and you can feel the spirit of those entertainers and all of that history. You can feel inside the building. And so then the Ivoryton Playhouse Foundation was formed in the 70s to kind of protect the building and with also the mission to provide the shoreline area with high caliber professional theater, and that's what they've been doing ever since the establishment in 1979, I believe, is when the Playhouse Foundation was formed. And so under Jackie Hubbard's leadership from the early 90s, the Playhouse has seen an incredible expansion of success. I think the organization grew from a budget of like $70,000 a year to produce their shows to over $2 million in an annual budget now, and that is all thanks to Jackie's tireless leadership, Krista May's efforts in raising money and growing the ticket sales and growing our our marketing reach beyond just the shoreline region. And we have people that come from Rhode Island, and they come from around New York City, and they come all the way down from New Hampshire to see shows at the Playhouse. So I think we're really lucky. I think we're in a wonderful era now. The Playhouse has kind of contracted through COVID and through the hurricane that flooded our basement, and is really poised for a new period of growth and excellence. And I think the community can really get excited about where the Playhouse is and where we're headed.
Okay, let's hold that thought.
Okay.
I'm Deborah Gilbert. We're going to take a break. You're tuned into Arts and Entertainment. We'll be right back.
Hello, and welcome to Shoreline Music Monthly. My name is Mark Koshwitz.
Take away my soul every day. I made friends with depression, I wore it like a shirt.
Dog dreamer, find a name bigger than an underdog. Sitting at your patio party with 100 people around.
Honey, you can start nothing till the foundation's laid down. If you build it from the ground up, the rest will come.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host, and as always, thanks so much for being here. We continue on with talking about the Ivoryton Playhouse, and Ben Hope continues to be my guest. And Ben, one of the things we talked about in the break was the calendar of events. What's happening there in 2024?
We have an excellent season of shows. The Ivoryton Playhouse produces 6 professional shows a year, and like I mentioned earlier, we build them from the ground up, all from scratch. The first show coming up in 2024 is a show that a partner of mine and I, Eric Anthony, created called Everly, the music of the Everly Brothers. And it's a show that chronicles the rise to fame and then ultimately what affected the Everly Brothers and made them break up in the 70s. It features a remarkable amount of great music, as you can imagine, all of those Everly Brothers classic hits, a lot of songs that people know, a lot of songs that people don't know that they know. And then, of course, we have a lot of B-sides, too, that really helps, I think, explore the Everly Brothers' careers in a deep way, in a meaningful way. Eric and I are both huge fans of their catalog, and so we have a lot of fun, playing those songs and talking about what led to to their breakup and eventually what got them back together. And then that runs from April 4th to the 21st. And then the second show in the season is a show called Swingtime Canteen. It's a show that features a lot of classic 1940s music played by the cast of actors who are also an all-female swing band. It's going to be a great show. It's got songs like Sing, 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 Don't Fence Me In, all kinds of great 1940s classics. And it's also a wonderful narrative piece about a washed up, or not washed up, a Hollywood actress who has, kind of started to not be hired as much as she used to. And so she's assembled this touring group of female musicians to entertain the troops in London. And so the story kind of takes off from there. It's a great show. It's going to run May 16th to June 9th. And then in our summer, we get to Mystic Pizza, the musical, which is really exciting based on the movie that launched Julia Roberts' career. And it's a show that features a bunch of 80s classic music. So it's girls just want to have fun and all kinds of songs that are on the 80s and 90s pop radio. And that show is running June 27th to July 28th. And it's going to be a great show. I think, and I've researched this and I cannot find it to be untrue, that this is the first time Mystic Pizza has been produced in the state of Connecticut, which is really exciting. And because, obviously Mystic is such a close neighbor, we're really looking forward to working with Mystic to really promote that show and get people not only excited about the Playhouse, but also excited about Mystic and Mystic Pizza. And then in midsummer, we are doing Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville, which I'm sure all the parrot heads out there are excited about. That show is fantastic. It was written, co-written by Jimmy Buffett. The music is all by Jimmy Buffett. It features some of his classic, songs like Son of a Sailor, Fins, lots of great Jimmy Buffett music, but also some new songs that Jimmy Buffett wrote for this specific piece. It's also a hilarious narrative. It's going to be a great show. People are really going to enjoy it. So we're really excited for people to come out and see that. It's August 8 to September 8 is Escape to Margaritaville. And then when we get into the fall, we have an amazing play called Alabama Story, which is a true story about a book that was written in the 1950s by an Alabama author. I'm from Alabama, so I have a deep connection with this story. And his name was Garth Williams, and he wrote a children's book about a white rabbit and a black rabbit that get married and want to run away together. And there was a senator in Alabama who was a segregationist, and he wanted to ban this book. And one of the local librarians stood up for the right of this book to be in schools and for people to be able to pick it up at their local library. And it kind of, ballooned into a national trial where this senator was trying to get this book banned. And it's a beautiful tale, a beautiful story about, the freedom of speech and book banning and where we are. I think it should resonate in an election year. It might resonate, with some of our viewers. So we're really, really looking forward to producing that show. And Alabama Story runs October 3rd to October 20th. And then we end the year with a show that Jackie Hubbard has written called God Bless Us Everyone, a Christmas show, obviously, in the Christmas season. And it's going to be really a lot of fun. It's got some, some hints of Dickens and some slapstick humor. It's going to be a really, really fun show. And so we're currently having auditions on the 21st and the 22nd for local talent to come and try to be a part of the 2024 season. So you can get on our website and find the link to sign up for auditions if you'd like to be a part of the 2024 season. Just look for those links.
And that's exactly my next question. For the actors that are out there that would like to be able to audition for the Playhouse, is it just New York City? Is it local? And you're mentioning local.
Yes, absolutely. Oh no, we want, and it's actually part of our mission to highlight local talent. We really want to have people that exist in our own community that are gifted and talented. We want to put you on stage. So absolutely, we do bring a lot of actors in from New York City because we're very much New York adjacent, and so we have auditions in the city coming up in February. But we have local auditions for our local talented performers on January 21st and January 22nd from 11 to 7 both days, and you can sign up online. So come out and show us what you got.
What does the future look like for the Playhouse? Are you going to stay the way you are in 2024? Have you looked into 25 onward? Is it going to change? What are your mission statement?
We're currently in the process of strategic planning for the next 3 to 5 years. And I think what the Playhouse has really going for it is that it is the premier place in this region for casual, intimate experiences in the theater, for live entertainment that you feel like you can reach out and touch. So you don't have to dress up in a tuxedo, and you don't have to, have $1 million in the bank to come enjoy a show at the Ivoryton Playhouse. We have something for everyone. In our season, we're highlighting literally music from the 1940s through every single decade up into the 2000s. And so I think what we can offer is something for everyone to enjoy at the Playhouse. And we offer that experience to be, come as you are, no judgment, casual and intimate. And so that's what we want to be. That's who we're intending to be. I think it's what's worked for the Playhouse for a long time. And I think that's what we offer the community. I think it's really valuable. And so that's what we're going to continue to be. I do think that the Playhouse is in a position to grow in the future and to become, to continue to be the center of the economic heart of the Ivoryton Village, but also to be more of a regional player, to pull more tourists in, to work with the Chamber of Commerce and all the other organizations around this area, to really grow, I think, the River Valley into a tourist destination and a one-stop shop for excellent offerings in food, entertainment, and just like yourself, in TV and theater.
I was going to ask you, how does Ivoryton deal with the town and its surrounding area? Do you have a good relationship?
Yes. Oh, yes. An excellent relationship. As you know, the Illuminations happens every year right there on the green by the Playhouse. And we've got excellent restaurant options right across the street. The Ivoryton Tavern is there. The Blue Hound is next door. Gather is an amazing little shop that's just across the street from the theater. And we love all of those businesses. And we're always trying to find ways to work with them and help grow their businesses as well as ours, and to really work as a team down there in Ivoryton to make positive impacts on our community.
And to the actors out there that are seeing you as an actor now,
Yeah.
and a former actor,
Sure.
as an actor,
Right.
do you miss it?
Yes, I do. I miss being an actor, and I don't think you ever stop being one, really. 20 years was a long career. I was really lucky, I think, in the performing arts world, just like in any profession. I think you have to define success for yourself, and that definition changes all along the way. And so I was really lucky to kind of consistently hit a level where that was what I was defining success at the time. When I was working regionally, and I was really excited and happy. I met my wife at a regional theater when we were apprentices in 2005. We met, and I was on Broadway for a while, and that was an amazing experience. And now Katie and I both, my wife, when we met at a theater in 2005, we met as apprentices in a small regional theater it had 400 seats maybe. Ivoryton Playhouse has 250 seats. And when we met, we both knew and had conversations about how eventually in our careers, what we would like is to end up in a small regional theater where we could raise a family ourselves and where we could grow the family of that theater into something that was wonderfully respected and an excellent place for high quality art. And we knew that then, and now that we're here, it feels very much like we've achieved another goal, that we've kind of ticked another box on our checklist of success in our careers, that we can now join the team at Ivoryton Playhouse and do what we talked about so many years ago. After she was on a Broadway tour for a long time, and we both kind of traveled the world and did all kinds of amazing things. But now we've got our little family, and we're settling down. We're coming off the road, and we're hoping to have a real positive impact on Ivoryton and the Ivoryton Playhouse.
We are starting to run out of time.
No problem.
But for the artist, again, that's listening to us, you're mentioning Broadway twice now. What was it like performing in Broadway?
It's an unforgettable experience, and I was just lucky enough. I think it's a lot of luck, and luck favors the prepared. And it really felt like all the little things that I did, starting back when I was 12 and 13, all the little tiny things I learned, and all the little things you do, really led up to my 7 callbacks in my audition for Once, the musical was the show that I was in. And so I auditioned for the first time in October of 2012, and it wasn't until January that I got the call that I had been hired to do the show. So in that time frame, I had 7 different callbacks. So it was a really long road. It was very stressful to get there, but once I was there, it was an amazing experience. I was incredibly fortunate to get to do that. At any given point in time, I think I read that there are 400 actors currently cast in a Broadway show, and so out of, you think about 7 billion people on Earth, 400 is a fraction of a fraction, and so it's a real dream come true. I'm very proud of that achievement.
Well, as we start to run out of show, which we are, any closing thoughts about your life, Ivoryton Playhouse? What do you think the future holds?
Yeah, I think 2024 is an excellent season. I think, like I mentioned, we've got something for everybody. So come out and see a show at the Playhouse. If it's your first time, if it's your 50th time, we welcome you at the Playhouse in our casual and intimate space. And I'm so grateful for you having me on the program today. I hope to be back. Maybe Eric and I can come play you guys some music.
I would love that. It would be wonderful.
Yeah, great.
Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to be here with the viewers. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You have been tuned in to Arts and Entertainment. Hope you have a super day today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll see you next time.